Okay, our next topic is solutions. So these questions all had the word solution in them, and or something to do with solving equations or solving inequalities. So yes, you can certainly solve equations and solve inequalities if that's what your jam is and you're ready to do that for getting your max algebraic points, especially on open-ended. For multiple choice, let's go with the idea of if it has the same solutions. Once again, we're going to hope for there's the same graph, and then our calculator can actually do some solving, so we're going to have to play around with that idea. But I will say, and I'm looking even just at this very first question down here, if I see that x plus 3 squared equals 24, I might be separating this into this is line 1, and then this is line 2, and let's see what's going on. So think for these questions, and I'm actually going to do some erasing here, all we have to do is try out the different equations and inequalities and see if they literally make the same graph. I would make sure you try all 4 and then be able to use elimination. Don't just stop at the right answer. Make sure you really have the right answer. All right, so just bear with me as we start to go through these, because once again, you're going to fight for these points using the basic idea of equality. All right, let's look at the first one and see what happens when we go into that. So question number 8 says, which equation has the same solutions as x squared plus 6x minus 18 equals 0? Let's go see what Desmos does when we type this in exactly as it is. So I'm going to just as it is. I'm not going to separate it. So let me clear out. And let's go ahead and type that in. If we type in x squared plus 6x minus 18, we get the parabola. As soon as I put equals 0, that parabola is gone. Those are straight lines. And I have 2 different answers here. Okay. All right, let's try the next one and see what happens. X plus 3 squared. So there's a parabola, but now we're going to go equals 24. Now, they are very close, but they are not the same, right? Here, we had negative 8.19. Here, oh, let's see, I got to turn off the black one. Here, negative 7. This is not the same. So this is very interesting to me. I think this is an update with Desmos that is new for this year. That's good. All right, so I'm going to put those back. I'm going to go back down here. This one we know is wrong. So I am just going to put a line through that we tried it. It's not that. Okay, we're going to go to here and type in 27 and see if that shifts it so it's on top. Hey, check it out. So negative 819. Negative 819. Okay, I'm liking choice 2. I'm going to just put a circle around it for now. But guess what, guys? I want to confirm that I am getting my points. So I'm just going to jump back here, and I'm going to change this to a 6. And you can see they don't match. And I'm going to change this to a 24. And that doesn't match either. And I'm just confirming that it's not the same. This is super awesome. Oh, let's move on to question number 13 and see if we can get that right. And see what other weird things are happening. So here we go. Question number 13 says, what is the solution to the inequality 2m minus 4 is less than or equal to 3 times 2m plus 4? Okay, this is something we need to know. So this is a question of sliders or switch to X. Let's see what Desmos does. So you have to be willing to fight. All right, I'm gonna shrink back and minimize this. Let's go over there. Nope, there. Here we go. All right, so I have 2m minus 4 is less than or equal to 3 times 2m plus 4. All right, so 2m minus 4 is less than the 3. Okay, so let's see what this is. Warning is, we do not plot inequalities. We only plot inequalities of x and y or r and theta. You're like, okay, well, let's see what happens when we add a slider. Let's go down to the choices. If I put m is less than or equal to -2, okay, it looks like sliders are not the way. So let's go and kill the slider. No. No. Still yuck. Kill the sliders. Let's change this to an X. 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 All right. So first things first. I'm going to turn this off. Okay. This is the original inequality. We want to find one that matches it. So I'm going to turn choice 1 on. Match? Not a match. So let's look at our next choice. M is greater than or equal to -2. Greater than, oops, so sorry, backspace. Greater than, equal to. Okay, there it is. Nope, not a match, people. And granted, I am totally like zoomed out. Okay, yeah. So right there, not a match. It needs to be at 4. Ooh, so that's why that 4 is something that's there. So I think I'm going to go for choice 4 next. Oh, there it is. It's a perfect match. Okay, so what we have just figured out for this type of question is sliders do not work. So we are going to have to switch our variables to X, and that is going to allow us to do the substitute or see the equivalency. So it's choice 4, that was the one, and we made this an X, we made this an X, and we made this an X, and we had a match. All right, here we go. The functions f of x equals x squared minus 5x minus 14, and g of x equals x plus 2 are graphed on the same set of axes. So let's just take a moment. This is going to be a quadratic, which is going to make a parabola. This is linear. So we're going to have some sort of picture that maybe looks like that, a quad linear system. Now it says, what are the solutions to the equation f of x equals g of x? So we're definitely looking at points of intersection, but this is similar to some of our graphing questions where it says, what are the solutions? The solutions are the x values. So when I look at each coordinate pair, I want the x value because that's when I plug in and get the same output. So let's go ahead and put these in and see what's going on visually with this one. All right, let's delete all. And I don't know if we have reset everything or not. I think we have. Here we go. So f of x, and you can type in the f of x, or you can choose not to. It's all good. Equals x squared subtract 5x subtract 14. Okay, so there's my first parabola. Now, or there's my parabola. Now I'm going to do g of x. G of x equals x plus 2. Oh, pardon me. All right. So, zoom out. There they are. Okay, so here is a point of intersection at -2, 0. And here is a point of intersection at 8, 10. So let me show you why the -2 and the 8 are what we have. So if I go back here and do show me some tables, do you see how if I input -2, I get a 0, and if I input -1, I get a -8? Well, when I go down here and look at my table, hey, when I input a -2, my output is 0. That's a match. But when I input a -1, I get 1, while up here I had -8. That's not a match. So going back, our points of intersection are -2, 0, and -8, 10. So -2, 0, -8, or +8, 10. So what happens is we can say f of -2 has the same output as g of -2. So we're looking for the one that has -2 and +8, and it's going to be choice 3. All right, so the thing that would be rough is going for like the 14 and the 0. I don't know, these other choices are kind of whack to me. So it is the x values. We see that often. All right, let's go and do another question. Hey, here's a quad linear system. So excellent. This one's already visualized for us. I find the points of intersection. This point is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. And this point is at 1, -3. So what is the solution, or what are the solutions? It is the x values, because when I do f of 1, I get -3. And when I do g of 1, I get -3. F of 1 equals g of 1. So it's the x values of the points of intersection. So let's look. We want a 1 and a 5. That is choice number 1. All right. So we have looked at solving, equations can be solved for values of x. Inequalities can be solved for two-dimensional spaces, a solution set. We have systems of equations, and then here we go to question number 6. This is just a very simple equation. So this is actually, I think, where Desmos has really decided to up its game and understand just what equality is. So let's go ahead and put this guy in. Here we go. So there we are. Okay, so I'm going to clear everything, delete all, and go back here. So here is our equation. So remember, if you want to divide, have a fraction bar, you got to divide first. So I'm going to do that. There it is. So 4 parentheses x minus 5 over 3 plus 2 equals 14. All right, now let's see if we have anything on our graph. because if I look at these, the solutions are 4, 6, 15, and 14. This is, of course, not the only way to do it, but if I zoom out, I see a vertical line at 14. This is, Desmos didn't allow this before. So this is actually really, really cool. All right, so there's some equations and ways to solve them, systems, individual equations, and inequalities. Certainly there are ways to do this algebraically. Let's do that real quick with this guy right here before we move away, because equation solving is something we all should be able to do. So if I start off with 4, if I start off with 4 times x minus 5 over 3 plus 2 equals 14. Couple things. One, equations need to remain balanced, okay? That's the first thing. And then the next thing is when I'm solving, I'm trying to isolate x. And this is kind of how I like to think of it. It's kind of like layers of an onion. So before I can get to x, I have to get rid of the subtract 5. I have to get rid of the times 4. And I also have to get rid of the divide by 3. And I have to get rid of the plus 2. So the plus 2 is farthest away from the x. So I'm going to take care of that first. And we do opposite or inverse operations. So minus 2, minus 2. We have 4 times x minus 5 over 3 equals 12. All right. Now, this is where you might choose to cross multiply or do something different. I'm going to say the opposite of divide by 3 is to multiply by 3. So that means I have to multiply this side by 3. I now have 4x minus 5. 4 times x minus 5 equals 36. I'm going to move my work over here. So I have 4 times x minus 5 equals 36. So distribute 4 x minus 20 equals 36. I'm going to add 20 to both sides. And I get 4x equals 56. And when I divide by 4, there it is. It's 14. That is some seriously painful equation solving. Yuck. The other thing with multiple choice is you can always plug in. So, for example, 15 is not the correct answer. So if I did 15 subtract 5, I would get 10. And 10 times 4 is 40. And 40 divided by 3 is something ugly, which means when I add 2, it can't be equal to 14. So lots of ways to get these questions right. Don't give up. You can do it. I have faith.